Do these words look familiar? I'm sure you've used them and seen them quite a bit. We use them in all different contexts. Here's the word te, que gusto verte. And someone says, tanto tiempo sin verte, ¿qué ha de nuevo? Lo de siempre. Bueno, te presento a mis padres. Tanto gusto. Chao, te llamo más tarde. Vale, que te vaya bien, cuídate. I think you know that te is you. Here I attached it. Here I put it in front. I think most students struggle with wondering, where do I put these words? We're going to look at direct and indirect object pronouns both and try and take a formal look at where do they go when you're constructing a sentence. I encourage you to use your ear. By now, you probably have picked up a lot of phrases that will help guide you in this process. For now, let's just isolate the word te. What do you notice about where it goes with an infinitive? That's right, it's attached here. How about a single conjugated verb? Goes in front. Yeah. How about a affirmative command? Attached. Okay, well, we'll see some more rules coming up. To start with, though, let's talk about what an object pronoun is. First of all, an object pronoun is something that is related to the object of the verb, whereas the subject is the person doing the action. So in English, we typically say, I am doing something, either for him or to him. And we are in English are a subject, verb, object language. Spanish, it really can vary on the construction. But what we're going to be talking about are these words over here to start with, direct object pronouns. Instead of I, we'll use the word me, right? And instead of we, for example, the word us. So these placement rules will vary based on the form of the sentence. First, I guess I'll say that these three sets often get confused, and we're going to try and help you tell the difference between direct object pronouns, indirect object pronouns, and reflexive pronouns. Let's start with direct objects because I think they're the easiest. The best definition I've ever heard is it's who or what got verbed. For example, let's say you had you're at a restaurant and somebody says, or just at the table, ¿Tienes la leche? Sí. Pues pásamela por favor. You could find the verb pass here and you ask yourself, passing what or whom? I'm passing the milk, which is here represented by the word la. I've chose a substitute. Instead of saying la leche, which is a direct object, I turned it into a direct object pronoun. Pronoun just means a substitute word. It's easier and quicker to just say la instead of la leche. I could have said pásame la leche, but I said pásamela, and I used a direct object pronoun. The indirect tells me to who it's for. So you're passing it to me. So my sentence says, pass me it, por favor. So we could say that we have a good understanding of these two words, maybe in English, maybe not. Reflexive pronouns are a little different in that they're pretty unique to Spanish. They're pronouns that are done to yourself. Some verbs just are. For example, in Spanish you say, ¿Cómo te llamas? Yo me llamo Matt. Mi esposa se llama Miriam. Just llamarse is reflexive, and it's an added component that we just add to the sentence. My wife calls herself Miriam. How do you call yourself? So I don't want to get too confusing here, but the subject acts upon itself, which means that the object and the subject are the same person. Certain verbs tend to be reflexive, and I gave the example of llamarse for your name, but other verbs just randomly are. For example, divertirse means to have fun, and there is no reason why you have to add a me, te, se, nos, os, or se. You just do. So, are we having fun yet with grammar? Nos estamos divirtiendo ya. Nos, I put a nos just because have fun requires it. So I'm not going to work with these in this video, but just luckily the rules for where you put all of these sets are going to be the same. So though we're going to work with direct and indirect, if you're wondering where do I put a me, te, se, nos, os, or se, the rules will apply for the others. But just in the back of your mind, you might remember that many of your getting ready in the morning verbs, like acostarse, well, I guess that's in the night, levantarse por la mañana, maquillarse, vestirse, are reflexive. Also, some verbs change meaning when they're reflexive, like ir is go, but irse is go away. So, tengo que irme, we learn in Spanish 1. I have to leave, a little different than go. I'm leaving, going away. Or the expression dormir, to sleep, and dormirse, to fall asleep. These are true, by the way, in Italian and I think French. I don't speak French. But we'll leave reflexives alone for now. And we're going to focus our first bit on direct objects. A direct object is who or what got verb. Direct objects can be people or things. You just find the verb and what is the direct recipient of that action. For example, no lo conozco. Here I chose lo. That's a direct object meaning him. I don't know him. But objects can also be, lo can also be an object. If I wanted to tell somebody, the car, don't buy it, man, it's too expensive. No lo compres. Here lo means an it, the car, representing something masculine. So they could be people or things. But the key is that I'm not buying it. It's the direct recipient of the verb buy. We use these in everyday substitution just to be more concise. If a teacher asked you, ¿Tienes el libro de texto? If you didn't want to say, no tengo el libro de texto, lo can just represent el libro de texto. So we use these in just everyday conversations. Here, ¿tienes tu chaqueta? No la tengo. All of these examples are objects, but again, you can have people. Let's imagine I asked you if you knew my brother John. ¿Conoces a mi hermano John Roggio? You probably would say, no lo conozco. But if I asked that to some of the people I grew up with, they would say, sí, claro que lo conozco. Of course I know him. Indirect objects look a lot alike directs. The big difference is that instead of saying like, help me, instead something else has the object of the verb, like take it to, bring it to me, or tell it to me. Or tell it to him. So if you could ask to or for somebody, then that's probably the indirect. And who or what got directly verbed is your directs. This week we're going to do a crazy thing. We're going to put both of these in the same sentence, which might sound difficult, but really think how often you say something like, give me it, or take it to him. So we really use this a lot. Take this example. ¿Me puedes traer las tijeras? Can you bring me the scissors? That's scissors. Claro, of course. And then an understood I bring you them right away. Te las traigo enseguida. Las would be your direct. What am I bringing? I'm bringing scissors. That's represented here by the word them. And I put it to you. Hopefully in the videos you'll get a handle on first of all, telling the difference between direct and indirect, and also looking at where they go. Here's one more example with both a direct and an indirect. Speaking of the phone, right? If you first asked about the phone, someone would have to have a context, and then you might say, él me lo dio ayer. Él me lo dio ayer. He, to me, it gave. So we see that the indirect comes before the direct. Okay, and all three of these sets really have the same rules of where to put them. I'm going to start with the word le from this side over here. If I said, le di unas flores a mi madre hoy, because today was Mother's Day, right? I gave some flowers to my mother today. I added an extra le in Spanish. If you have an indirect object, you have to also include the le. That's a little different. Oh, man. Just put it there for now. But look where it goes. It goes in front of a single conjugated verb. Now, if I said, I'm going to give her the book tomorrow, I have a little bit of a different setup because I have something called a verbal phrase. That means I have a conjugated verb like this one, but I also have an infinitive. So I have the option of putting it in front of the conjugated verb like I did above, or I can attach it to this verbal phrase that ends in infinitive. Voy a darle el libro mañana. I attached it. Let's look at directs and you'll see the same thing. So I'm going to take the word lo, which means it or him, directly from the verb. So like, I don't know him, no lo conozco. I put it right in front of my verb that is conjugated. But if I have an infinitive that ends in the letter R, I have the option of attaching if I want. Voy a llamarlo mañana. Okay, and that would be true for reflexives also. That's also true for ing. You have a choice. Let's look at this present participles here. That's ando or yendo. We use it with someone is doing something. Los platos, Luli los está lavando ahora. And that should not be capitalized. Sorry about that. Or los platos, Luli está lavándolos ahora. Luli is washing them. I can attach them to washing, or I can put it in front of the word is. You might want to pause the video to take this in or watch that again. So we could say that verbal phrases that have an infinitive and ing forms also are another form of verbal phrase, sort of, that you have a choice of where to put them. Otherwise, a single conjugated verb, you go in front. That's the general rule. Let's look at somewhere they're just in front, and let's see if we can spot that. ¿Tienes tu tarjeta de crédito? No, no la tengo. ¿Conoces a mi hermano John? No, no lo conozco. I don't know him. By the way, if you think very hard, you'll recognize lots of times where you've put him in front of the verb. Yo me llamo Matt. That's a reflexive verb, by the way. Let's do an indirect. Every time you used gusta, right? A Julia, well, let's do here, we'll change it to gusta. A Julia le gustan las naranjas. Le goes in front. And all the verbs that function like gusta, that use me, te, le, right? No me gusta, no te gusta, no le gusta is the same for encanta or interesa or fascina. A mí me fascinan los libros. I put the me in front of fascinan. Just change this to show you te va a fascinar ese libro. So it fascinates me. Well, that book is going to fascinate you. Te va a fascinar. I could also say va a fascinarte. I can attach it there. Here's a double object pronoun. Juan va a traérmela mañana. I attached the indirect, then the direct to an infinitive, or I can put them both in front of the conjugated verb. Juan me la va a traer mañana. So these rules will also hold up for reflexives. If you just have a conjugated verb, you put the extra word in front. Me levanto, me ducho, me visto. However, if I had an infinitive because I said I have to, then I could attach those words. Por la mañana tengo que despertarme a las 6, levantarme y vestirme. I attached them because it was connected with tengo que. So watch where I put the me's. Todos los días me despierto a las 6. Primero me peino, me visto. There I've just got them in front of conjugated verbs, but if I slightly said, but tomorrow's a little different, I have to get up early at 5. Because of have to, then I can attach it if I want, or I can put it in front. So, mañana tengo que despertarme temprano. Not to be too repetitive here, but again, if you're leaving, you say, bueno muchachos, me voy. I'm leaving. Adios, me voy. It wasn't in a phrase, but if I had a helping verb like have to, or going to, or want to, or need to, I could say necesito irme, or tengo que irme, or voy a irme. Because of my helping verb and an infinitive, I can attach. Or if that's confusing, just put it in front of the conjugated verb. Me tengo que ir, or me necesito ir. Phew, this is a lot of information, but I'm counting on you to just use your ears. You've heard these things before. Commands are the last thing. Notice that a command, I attach it to an affirmative command and put in front of a negative command. Ayuda a mi esposa. Sí, ayúdala, dice el ángel. No, no la ayudes, dice el diablo. and la represents my wife. Hey, I'm out of time. We'll have to save the rest for the next video.